everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's card is a very simple, very elegant white on white Christmas card. So if you stick with me, I will show you how. I'm using the Pine Bough Textured Impressions folder, and I have a piece of Whisper White which I've cut to pretty much fit it, and I am going to be using my Texture Boutique. Even though it's been retired from Stampin' Up, but if you're quick you can still get them in clearance, and they're at a very good price. And the reason why I'm using this rather than my Big Shot is because it's easier, it's more convenient to do it. Now I think the reason why they retired, Stampin' Up retired the Texture Boutique, was because some of the new folders that they're stocking now won't fit through it. They are too wide, but this size fits just nicely. And of course you can use your Big Shot or whatever embossing machine you happen to have, but it works just great with the Texture Boutique. I don't know how well you can see, but that has put a lovely pine bough onto my Whisper White card. So after I embossed the Whisper White card, I decided that I would like a square card front this time. So I've cut my card down to 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and I'm going to begin by doing some stamping on it. I'm using stamps from the Holly Jolly greeting set. I'm going to be using Wishing You and Joy. So those are the two stamps I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be stamping and embossing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is give all of my card a jolly good coating with my embossing buddy. And I have Versamark ink, and I'm going to start with the word Joy. I'm just going to position that where I would like it to sit on my card. And I've got to remember I've got to leave room for the Wishing You part of it. So let's put that down there. Okay, and don't know how well you can see that, but in reality I can see where that word is. And now I'm going to just tilt my head a bit, tilt my stamp, because I want to put the Wishing You on top of it, and I'm going to move it over up and to the side a little bit so I don't have to worry about getting it centered on the card. So now I'm going to take a little look at that in the light and see if that is how I want it. And I'm going to bring in my silver embossing powder, and here we go. So this is it, the acid test. Okay, and that I think will work for me. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to turn on my heat gun, and I'm going to give that a second or two to warm up, and then I am going to emboss, heat emboss this card. And there you go. Pretty pleased with that. Next step before I move on, I have my clear Wink of Stella pen here, and I'm just going to just brush across the top of my embossed pine needles. Just catching them. Got my brush held quite flat, and I'm just brushing across the top. Just so that they look, not sure how well that's showing, See, doing a white on white card seems like a really good idea when you're planning it all out, but when you're actually filming it, there are challenges. Not actually challenges with doing it, but challenges in showing you what I'm doing. So just catching. Yeah, you can just about catch it there. I just thought this is probably going to be a fun one to photograph as well, but never mind, we'll get there. Okay. Right, so I'm going to put that on one side to dry, and I've also been doing some work die cutting out some of the shapes that are in the companion the companion die set, which I think is called Pretty Pines. If it's called anything else, I'll put the details there. And I've already gone ahead and Wink of Stellaed up some of these pieces. I'm just going to finish off the last one. So these are going to be 3D pieces onto the front of the card, and I've gone ahead of time. I have Wink of Stellaed up one of the pine cone pieces. This is the smallest of the pine cones that you get in the set, so I can put my Wink of Stella aside for now. Now, if you look at this one, you can see that I've shaped it, and the way I did that was I had a nice squishy surface. This happens to be my my stamping and embossing paper piercing mat. I've got something with a rounded end. This happens to be a flower tool, but something like you know, a large embossing tool, anything like that. And I'm just kind of giving it some shape, and I'm taking the other end. So again, if you've got something like a you know, the scoring tool actually from the Simply Scored would work beautifully on this, and I'm just pushing forward those little, I don't know what you call them, those little sticky outy bits, if you like, on the pine cone. Yes, or the tisty tosties, as my husband calls them. That is the name for pine cones in this part of the world, which I'd never heard until I came to live here, because we didn't call them that where I grew up. We just called them pine cones. So there is my tisty tosty. So I can put those pieces away. And now I've stuck the largest of the pine branches down, and I'm going to use dimensionals to give my pine cones some shape. And so I'm just going to arrange these where I would like them to sit. So I can put that one around about there, I think, and this one will go next to it. I don't know if you can hear rustling noises off, but the cat has found a box that has got tissue paper in it, and she is making herself very much at home. So you know, thanks for that, Misty. We appreciate that. Alright, so the two smaller branches I'm going to apply with some of the fine tip glue. And as well as the cat making noises off, there is a, not quite sure whether it's fire, police or ambulance, but the emergency services are going down the street with all the sirens blazing. The sirens blaze? Lights blazing, sirens going. Yeah. Not quite sure what I mean today. We went to a wedding last night. If you follow my YouTube channel, you might have seen some of the bits of craft that I made for the wedding, and there it is. Oh, no, I need a bit more. Don't think I've got enough adhesive on the back of that one, so excuse me just for a moment, because you do have to be quite quick with the old fine tip. It doesn't do to hang around, it doesn't like it. So there. Oh, I want to mount my finished card front onto a piece of silver foil card, and what I've done is I've cut myself a piece that is 4 3/4 inch square, and I've chopped out the middle, and I'm going to use that for something else another day, because that card is too nice to be hidden and don't want to waste it. So I've gone ahead and I've put tear and tape onto the back of my card, and you can see on the back of the card, you can see the depth of that embossing. It's a really nice embossing folder, this one. I'm addicted to pine needles anyway. I just love the look of them, and I love the shape of them. I think they're very elegant. Right, so I've put my tape on the back, I've part removed it, and by doing that, that allows me a little bit of wiggly time to make sure that my card is as centered as it can be on the background. And I'm being a little bit fussy about this one, because this card is white on white and silver. It will show every little imperfection, so I want this to be really as perfect as it can be, as straight as it can be, not my usual astigmatic or jaunty angle that I usually manage to come up with. Okay, so that's not too bad, I think, for me. That's pretty good. Alright, so I just want to add one more little bit of bling, and I've got our silver ribbon, a silver 1/8 of an inch ribbon, which is so pretty, and I'm just going to tie a bow, I hope. I'm going to make a nice tight knot, because I'm going to pull that right in, because it needs to be quite a dainty little bow for me. I'm just going to zhuzh it a little bit. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to cut that off. And same thing over here. And I have my glue dots, and I'm going to put the glue dot where I want my ribbon to go. Then I'm going to put my ribbon on top of my glue dot, and I am going to call that all done. That is the finished card, and I'm moving it through different angles because white on white isn't the easiest thing to show you on a video, so I'm just trying to catch the light just so that you can get a hint of that wink of Stella and how pretty it actually is. But that is it for today. Thank you very much for joining me. If you want to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, visit my blog, visit my Facebook page, visit my online shop, all of the details are underneath this video. But for now, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.